Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute, but I'm here and I'm back with a completely different video than from what I typically do or have done in the past. So I'm back with a video on the pros and cons of ER nursing. You guys wouldn't know this, but for the past 2.5 years I've been working as an RN in the ER, and it's been interesting. So I feel like I have a decent amount of experience to be able to tell you guys, hey, this is what you should look out for. Hey, this is what's bomb about the ER. So stay tuned. So if you guys see me looking down, I just made a list of, things I should talk about. So let's go. So we're first going to start with cons. I figured it's better, easier to ease ourselves into the cons, with the bad parts of the job. And well, before going into the pros, start off bad, end off on a bright note. You guys feel me? So starting off with the cons. Number one, the high-paced flow rarely stops. So in the ER, you almost always have patients coming in, whether they're just walking in or whether ambos or ambulances are bringing them in. There is always a flow of patients, and the only way it ever really diminishes or is not as high volume or high traffic is when, let's say, we're on not code yellow, but I can't think of what it's called exactly, but either we're on code yellow, I think, or code red. Those are the wrong terminologies. Oh man, what is it? Okay, we're typically, if you hear somebody in the ER say, hey, we're on colors, we're either on yellow or red most of the time, or those are the ones that are most used compared to the other ones. Red is basically we don't have any more telemetry or monitored beds, so ambulances who are carrying patients who they know that may need cardiac monitoring will have to go to another ER. Yellow is basically, hey, the ER is basically either at full capacity, we cannot just get anybody, we cannot receive anybody else, or hey, we're short, there's only so much you can do with so much staff and this amount of patients. But sometimes ambos still come, and if other area hospitals are on either of those colors, it doesn't matter. Like you're still gonna get a high patient flow. So that's number one. Con number two is you are the first line of care. That can be either a pro or it can be a con. Technically, we're the second line because the patient would have had to, most likely, depending on what they're presenting with, most likely would have been brought in by medics, paramedics, or yeah. So often we start from scratch. So let's say we don't know anybody, we literally start from scratch. We have to figure out, okay, where are you coming from? What are your medical problems? What medications you take at home? What is your family history like? And oftentimes, or let's not say oftentimes, when the patient goes up to the floor, those floor nurses or even ICU nurses have background on the patient already. Hey, this patient has this patient has that, but a lot of times we're working from scratch. We don't really know what to go off of, but we're just kind of piecing things together as we go along. And that's it for con number two. Okay, so for con number three, I have that it is stressful. It is stressful. Typically in the ER, at least in the state I live in, our ratios are 4-to-1, so 4 patients to 1. But that depends on their acuity. So if they're like a critical patient, let's say they have to be on TPA, that is a 1-to-1. You cannot have any other patients while taking care of this patient on TPA. Let's say you have a patient who is IMCU, your ratios decrease, so you can only, I believe, have 3-to-1. So if you have 1 IMCU and 2 regular patients, it's a 3-to-1. If you have, let's say, 2 IMCUs, no, I think it's a 3-to-1 still. Kind of depends. And when you have an ICU patient, let's say an ICU and an IMC, those are your only 2 patients. So, okay, so we have ratios down. Now, sometimes, depending on who your charge nurse is, how they like to, assign patients to rooms. Sometimes, for example, you'll get maybe 2 ambos or 2 ambulances with patients you have to work up from scratch. Work up meaning you, depending on what they're here for, need an EKG, need a medication reconciliation. You also need to draw labs and put an IV in. You get their height and weight. You literally work them up from scratch. And as I said, sometimes you can get 2 of them at a time, 3 of them at a time. Sometimes you get 1 ambo, 2 patients from the front who may have been worked up. Depends on who's out there, who wasn't out there, if they're able to do it because of patient volume, so on and so forth. So it's stressful. From you don't really know what you're getting sometimes through the door. From you constantly have doctors say, hey, I need this. Hey, no, your patient's crashing. Your patient's blood pressure is 60/50, but you have 2 other patients who are in need of medications so it's definitely stressful. You have so many things coming at you from so many different points or places. Con number 4, it is physically draining working in ER. You're on your feet most of the time. Most of the time when I get off of work, I look at my Apple Watch, I see, hey, I've walked maybe 11,000 steps, 12,000 steps, 10,000 steps. On average, those are the amount of steps I've walked, and I think those equate to about 4 miles, 5 miles, that I've walked just in one 12-hour shift. So it's physically draining. You're on your feet most of the time, depending on what shift you're a part of. I think I'm day shift. So right now when I get in the mornings, it's pretty, slow paced. It's not very fast until maybe 11 o'clock hits. Sometimes 10 o'clock hits before we start getting patients coming in, but you're on your feet most of the day. So definitely need to make sure you have really comfortable shoes or comfortable, inserts, because you're going to be on your feet most of the day, if not all. When I get home, I am done. Like, I just put my legs up. I can't do anything else. I'm not good for nothing when I get home because I'm just exhausted. And you don't really feel the exhaustion until you've actually had the time to sit. That's starting off. You don't really feel the exhaustion until you've had a chance to take a shower and then sit. Then you feel like the muscles in your legs are aching, your body's just aching depending on what you've done. It's just, a shift in the ER is definitely tough. So con number 5 is that patients think they're in the Holiday Inn or the Hilton. They want to ask you for every and anything. Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? Hey, can I get a cup of water with just a little bit of ice? And also with another cup just full of ice. Hey, can I get this? Hey, can I get that? Hey, can I get this? And most times or sometimes it's not even like pertaining to their care. It's just about them being comfortable. And I understand, you want to be comfortable, but I also have multiple other patients to deal with, family to deal with, a plethora of medications, or just things to do, things that are on my list of, to do. So just providing every single thing ever need, fluffing the pillow, doing this, doing that. Sir, I'm an ER nurse. I don't work at the Hilton. So get it together. Those patients, oh my gosh, they frustrate me. But it's cool. So guys, now we're on to the pros of ER nursing. So pro number 1, you don't have the patient for long. In the ER, basically what we're trying to do is work the patient up, see, find a reason for them to stay or for them to be discharged if they're able to be discharged, and quickly dispo them out, Or let's rewind that. When you're in the ER as a patient, we want to quickly dispo you, or as quickly as we can. Dispo or disposition, either you're discharged home to follow up with your doctor, either you're admitted to the floor, or you're transferred, so on and so forth. So that is super beneficial, especially when you have those annoying patients, those patients who just want to aggravate you, ask you for any and everything, and just give you a hard time. So the fact that they're not there for the whole time is super, super awesome. For pro number 2, in the ER, you have a good balance of critical or stable patients or stable patients. As I mentioned earlier with the con, patient on CPA, that is a super... So my camera cut off. Isn't that lovely? I think I was on, pro number 2. So basically, you have a good balance of critical patients, as I said. You know, you're reducing a patient's hip, you're intubating a patient, patient is having a seizure. So you have a good mix and also a variety of things you see. So you'll have somebody come in with abdominal pain, you'll have somebody come in with chest pain, you'll have somebody come in with back pain. Oh, but they have a kidney stone, so on and so forth. There's a lot of things. Pro number 3, doctors are very accessible. In the ER doctors are right there. You can call them, I don't know, 7212. Hey, Dr. G, I need you. We have a critical patient or a critical lab value. Can you come see this patient? Hey, what can we do for this? Super accessible, as opposed to having to, page the hospitalist. Let's not even get into that. Pro number 4, report in the ER is short and sweet. I know floor nurses typically have to stay a little bit later, maybe till 7:45. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. But I know for them, report takes a lot longer because they're going literally from head to toe. In the ER, our reports are short and sweet. What are they here for? What did you give them? Where are they going next? What's their dispo? And that's pretty much it. So you're able to get report really quickly in the morning, unless you have a super critical patient. But you're able to get report quickly in the morning within 10 minutes, and you're able to give report pretty quickly within 10 minutes. Pro number 5 of being in the ER is there are a variety of shifts. You can work 7A to 7P, 11A to 11P, 3P to 3A, 7P to 7A. You can come in for a 4-hour shift from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. You can come in for an 8-hour shift, 3 p.m. to 11 a.m. You can literally work anytime that you want to, according to the needs of the ER and as you're willing to. There are a lot of shifts. You can make a decent amount of money working as an ER nurse, especially with those plethora of shifts to be able to pick up and to work. And last but not least, pro number 6 is you learn a lot of skills and you're able to become proficient in those skills. Working in the ER, you have to put NG tubes in sometimes, Foley's. You have to be good at phlebotomy, or you get good at phlebotomy, whether you're putting an IV in or just drawing labs using a butterfly needle. There are plethora of skills using bladder scans, doing bladder scans, using an ultrasound machine to look for an IV, which, Lord, thank you, I've been able to learn, praise the Lord, because that is a skill that is awfully, really needed, especially when you have patients who are hard sticks or maybe dialysis patients where for some reason they're always super hard to get IVs on. It depends, but they're typically the hardest to get IVs on. But you learn a lot of skills, and fast forwarding on to pro number 7, it's like the best feeling when you're able to, I don't know, you get a patient coming in with abdominal pain, you give them a couple medications, 3-4 hours later they're feeling so much better. And it's also great when you're able to connect with the patient in the short amount of time you have them for in the ER. I've been able to connect with countless patients, here and there, throw a joke in, some of them appreciate it. And yeah, I was honestly trying to stick to 10, but I just couldn't. I think I was up to 12. Yeah. So guys, that's my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We're able to learn a bit of something from this video. If you have any questions at all about being an ER nurse, feel free to drop them down. Let me know. If you have any constructive criticism, let me know. I'm always open to hearing that. And yeah, till next video. Bye.